Hello, Mike McGinn here, your instructor for NET.I.105, Introduction for Networks. I'll get the marbles out of my mouth here in a minute. NET.I.105, Introduction for Networks. As I was trying to say previously, my name's Mike McGinn. I'm your online instructor. I would like to update you on NetLabs. In the course content, the syllabus, it references NETLAB.IVYTECH.EDU. That is incorrect. The new platform, which they moved to over the summer, is NETLAB.IVYTECH.EDU. And it looks a little different. It's an upgraded platform, so the interface is a little different if you've used NetLab 1 in the past. What I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you how to log into NetLab. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up a browser. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and type in the URL here. And this is what you should see. Very pretty. I'm not sure which campus that is, but it definitely isn't Fort Wayne, which is the one I'm familiar with. So for your username, it's going to be the first part of your email address. So for me, it would be mmcginn2. But for purposes of testing, I have a student account. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with mmcginn79. And I'm going to put in my password. And you'll get to this page right here. And this is what you would normally see. This area here would show you if you have any previously scheduled labs that have not occurred yet. So we'll see how that works in a minute. The menu here, there's a help tab, and there is a student guide that you may want to take a look at. It gives you kind of the ins and outs in detail, but I'm going to hit all the highlights here. Also, there's information about supported web browsers. I use Chrome. That works pretty good for me. Haven't had any issues as of yet. So with that, I'm going to go click the home link here. And under the view, there you can see what labs you've completed, in case you forget what you've done and turned in. And then also there's a couple of links here. One is for your configuration files that you may have saved in the process of doing labs, and also showing you your configuration histories that you may have saved as well. And I'll get to that here in a little bit. And all of this is explained in detail in your student guide. So what I'm going to do first here is I'm going to go ahead and schedule a lab for myself. And what shows up here is a list of the labs that are available to you within this course. This is CCNA Routing and Switching Introduction to Networks version 6. And you can see there's a lot of labs here. Not all these labs are required for you to do for this course. Only the ones that I reference on the assignments page in the NetAcad are you required to actually do and turn in for grade. I encourage you to do as many labs as you can stand to do, because it's good practice, and the better you get, the better you'll do on the final exam, etc. But these are not all required. In fact, I think the first one that is required is 3.4.1.2, which is using Wireshark to view network traffic. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and schedule that lab. And what you can see here is these columns here are equipment pods. And if you scroll across, you can see there's quite a few there. So you shouldn't really have much trouble finding an available equipment pod. Now, what you can do is you could schedule some lab time out in the future, or you can, when you're little bit touchy here. But what you can do here is you can click just below the red line on a available equipment pod. So under this pod map ASA pod 06, I'm going to click right here. And what's going to happen is it's going to bring up a dialog box here. And notice that it defaulted to 4 o'clock, which on my clock it's about 4 o'clock. And it ended in 1 hour. You are allowed to schedule up to 2 hours for a lab reservation. And so I'll go ahead and make this for 2 hours. I'm going to click submit. And it'll say the reservation is scheduled. I click OK. And now notice on your home screen, you will see that the lab is showing up there. And since it is past 4 o'clock, I can enter the lab immediately. If I had scheduled it sometime in the future, this would not be available until that time occurred. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the lab. And what comes up here is the topology for the lab. That's this tab right here. And it shows you what equipment is going to be utilized in this particular lab. And in this lab, we have 3 PCs and a switch. So that's what that tab is for. The content tab, it shows you your instructions. Now, in terms of filling out the PDF, you'll find that the instructions that show up in here are not editable PDFs, which means you can't fill in your answers right on the PDF. If you want to do that, you can go into the lab assignment in NetACAD. Just go to the lab index for 3.4.1.2. If you open the PDF there, then that version would be editable and you can fill in the information. And the other thing that's nice is it's kind of nice having another window open on your PC that you can bounce back and forth to as you go through the chapter instead of hitting the tabs within here. But if you don't want to do it that way, I have no problem that if wherever you need to fill in answers, here I'll get down here to where there's like here, these are answers. You can put those into a PDF document, just reference what step and what letter. So this would be step 3, 3B, and then just give me your answers here. What I would prefer you do is copy the question and the answer and paste it into a Word document. So just do a copy, paste that into a Word document. Once you get in the Word document, put in your answer there, and you can just submit me the Word document. That would be another easy way to do it. So I have no preference one way or the other. So that's your content. What the status tab does is it shows you the status of all the devices. Now, when you first come into the lab, it's going to take a few minutes to initialize all the devices. So it could take up to 5 minutes for this to occur. Kind of goes against your lab time, but it's the way it works. It's showing it's doing an automated operation. If it just says powered on, that means it's pretty much ready to go, type of thing. And you can access the devices from here if you want. The other way you can access devices is each device in the lab, in the equipment pod, is a tab on the screen. So for example, if I want to get to PCA, I just click PCA, and what I get is I get a virtual desktop of that PC, and I can go in and use this PC just like it was a physical PC, as you can see here. As far as the routers, again, and the switches, I'm not going to be able to get into those until they're completely powered on. You can see they just powered on right now. So what I can do is if I go into that, I now can get to the router, and I'm at a command line, so I can go in and I can start configuring the router I'm going to just go ahead and give this a host name real quick. Host name Mike's router. And you can see that my prompt here changed to Mike's router. And and then I can do copy run to start and destination startup config, and it saved my config. So I just did a couple of simple commands there just so that there's something has changed. And the reason why I want to show you that is because I'm going to move my video here over here. The reason why I wanted to show you that is that at any time, if you want, you can go into your reservation and you can, or your pod, I'm sorry, and what you can do is you can save your device configs. Why would you want to do that? Well, the reason you want to do that is let's say that you are working on a lab and you're running short on your 2-hour time limit. Well, you don't want to have to start over if you don't make it within 2 hours. So what you can do is you can save your device configs, and you can save to your files or save to both. So I'm just going to say save to both here. And I'm going to go in here and go into my account folder and go into my pod. And then what I can do is I can just save everything right here. And it saves all my configurations to that location. So if I create another reservation later, what I can do is I can come in here and I can load all my devices with those configs. So I'm just going to load these right back with, to show you how that works. I can load my configs, and I'm going to do it from my file system, and come here. There's my pod from yesterday, and there's my pod from today. I guess I put that in the wrong place, but you get the idea. And then I just do load folder, and what it does is it erases the configurations of all the devices in my pod and loads my saved configs. And once that's done, I'm right back where I was. So so again, if I was to come in here, and all my configuration changes would still be intact in here once I load those configs. So right now what it's doing is it's rebooting the router after it's loaded my new configs. And once that comes up and I get to a CLI prompt, and I do and I get to a prompt, I should still have my my Mike's router prompt still intact, even though I erased the config. The fact that I loaded my configs back, I should be good. So this will take a couple minutes, but that's kind of the ins and outs of doing this. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to get to your instructions, and you're going to do what the instructions say for that particular lab by configuring each of the devices that are required for that particular lab. Now, even though all the devices in the pod show up here, a particular lab may only have you configure one router, a switch, and a couple PCs or all the PCs. I think in this particular lab, using Wireshark to view network traffic, you're configuring switch 1, PC A, B, and C, and doing the tasks just on those 3 pieces of equipment. So I'll give this a second to finish booting up here. And then the last thing is that when you're all done, if you go to your reservation and you click End Reservation Now, what's going to happen is that it will automatically email me the configs for all your devices. So the only thing you have to upload to the assignments page for this particular assignment would be your completed PDF or Word document with your PDF answers, as the case may be. So still cooking here. And there's my, just changed to Mike's router, so it's in the process of loading the config that I had saved, just to prove to you that this actually works. So for most labs, you're going to be fine if you schedule yourself for 2 hours to be get through the lab. But occasionally, things happen. One particular reason this would be nice is, let's say you're into your lab a half hour, you get a knock at the door, and it's a high school buddy or disgruntled person that wants to have words with you. Whatever your life hands you, you can save your configs real quick and be able to create a reservation later and pick up the lab right where you left off. So that's my presentation for how to log into NetLabs. The NetLabs, again, it's netlab.ivtech.edu. And to log in, your username is going to be the first part of your Ivy Tech email address. And your password, your temporary password, is NETI105. That's capital N-E-T, all caps, capital N, capital E, capital T, capital I, 105. And that will get you in, and you will be prompted for a new password the first time you log in. So that's something to keep in mind. Make sure you write that password down. I can reset them, but you know what? I got a life too, so try to write down your password so that I don't have to reset it for you. I would appreciate that. So that's it for this presentation. I'm doing this at 4:12 in the afternoon on a Friday, so I'm going to try to have a good weekend. I hope you do too. Take care.